YouTube, what is crack-lackin'? It is Scott from SemiPro here, and earlier today I posted a poll on our community tab. Who is the player with the most to prove in the NFL in 2020? And overwhelmingly, Baker Mayfield won. I can really agree with this. Baker Mayfield is a guy who has had a turbulent start to his career, a lot of expectations, being the first pick of the draft, and he has not quite lived up so far and has a lot to prove this season. Baker is a guy who I have very mixed feelings about. On one hand, he's ultra talented. There's a reason he was the first pick of the draft. There's a reason he was a Heisman Trophy winner. The guy can flat out play football, but I do have a couple concerns, including his maturity and his ability to adapt to the NFL level. He will have started 45 games by the time next season is done, as long as he stays healthy, and in my opinion, you need to see 40 games from a quarterback as a starter before you put a label on them, so it really is put up or shut up time for Baker this season. I know it might seem rushed to put an ultimatum on a guy that is going into his third season in the NFL, but it really is make or break for him this season. He's going to be on his fourth head coach in 3 years in Kevin Stefanski this season, who is, in my opinion, the best hire the Browns have made. So he's got that going for him now. He's got a great receiving core, great running game, good offensive line, good defense. The other pieces of this team are there. Baker needs to win this season in order to validate himself as a starter and a star in this league. Even though it has been turbulent for Baker, he's by no means been a bust so far. I mean, in fact, the guy threw 27 touchdowns in his rookie season, which is an NFL record. He did decline a bit last season. That's something we'll get to in a bit. But also, he's a pretty clutch player. He's led 4 comebacks in his career, 5 game-winning drives. The guy is prime time, has been since college. He's a good passer on all 3 levels of the field, and he's a great improviser too. Like, there are a lot of positives about Baker's game, and I like him a lot for what he can be and what he's shown us he can be. But anybody who watches Baker knows he needs to improve in a lot of areas this season if he's going to sustain himself as a starter in this league. And where does that start? The W word, winning. That's ultimately what erases all problems. It is ultimately what quarterbacks are judged by, and Baker hasn't been able to do it so far, even with good rosters around him. And I know he's been young. Like, how can you expect a guy like that to win? But, you know, he has made a lot of mistakes that have cost his team games at times, so you want to see him improve in that category. You want to see him be a leader, put the team on his back, and go win games for his team, not just be a part of wins. Now, how does Baker become a winner? Well, it starts with his poise. He's just got to be more patient. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He put himself in a lot of bad situations last season, and what I mean by that was 16% of his pressures were his fault. So that means he put himself in pressure situations where he scrambled outside of the pocket where he would have been safe in the pocket. So he needs to be more patient and stop over improvising. The other thing he needs to do is he needs to cut down on the turnovers. I don't blame young quarterbacks for throwing a ton of interceptions, but he's got to be more patient now. Year 3, the development needs to come. He needs to be patient, look at all of his receivers, complete his reads, and make a decisive throw. The last thing I want to see is his ball placement in the short and intermediate routes get better. A lot of mistakes, a lot of overthrows, a lot of wide throws last season. It's not really a problem for a young quarterback, but now he needs to take that next step and cut down on that, especially since it was something he was so good at Oklahoma. His accuracy was really a calling card as to why he was the first pick of the draft. The other thing I want to see from Baker is I just want to see the drama fade away. I think that's a big thing about him that really stands in his way of being an effective NFL quarterback. There's just a lot of noise, not only from him, but from this Browns team in general. I realize it might be a lot to ask from some of these guys to have them be quiet during the season, but Baker really has to be a leader, be that guy in the locker room who can compose his team and quiet out the drama, because this is a team that proved last season that they cannot at all handle the drama. So they've got to keep it quiet there, and that starts with Baker. So yeah, if you look at this offense, it's pretty damn good, and Baker has no excuses here. At receiver, he's got Landry and Odell, obviously. That is a nasty duo who can do it all. Then he has Higgins and Peoples-Jones, who are both looking to make a splash this season. Overall, this is one of the best receiving cores in the entire NFL, and he has 2 legitimate number 1 options. At tight end, he is also loaded. Austin Hooper and David Njoku are both athletic pass-catching tight ends who can make big plays at all levels of the field. But wait, there's more! The running game is ultra talented as well. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Dontrell Hilliard will keep the ball moving on the ground all season long in an elite rushing attack. In my opinion, Nick Chubb is probably the most underrated running back in the entire NFL. So overall, Baker has the most to prove of any NFL player this season because he's been so turbulent and he has all of these expectations. He can really flip the narrative about him with a good season this year, but if he has another year with 20 picks and, just making a lot of mistakes, not winning games, his future as a starter in the NFL is going to look very, very doubtful. If you enjoyed this video, click the thumbs up button. It really does help us out a lot. If you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button because we post awesome sports content every single day and you will not regret it. Let me know what you think about Baker Mayfield in the comments below. Does he have a lot to prove this season? Will he prove that this season? And will the Browns be good as a team this season? Thank you for watching and have a blessed rest of your day.